Okay, this video is on mastering. So we're going to end up with our mix exported, audio mix down. There's writing by yourself. It's number 12. FM means for mastering. It's being routed back to writing by yourself folder. Important to keep things organized. And my progress bar doesn't work when I have this video recording program on, so we're going to have to guess. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right, here we are. Now, I'm in the project for mastering. You'll see all these other versions up here. Those were earlier mixed versions where I was testing mixes. And there's an A-B off to the side here. It's the Cardigans Communication. And it's not exactly the sonic picture of this song, but I know it well, and there are certain things about the voice I wanted to capture and certain things I didn't. I'll go over those in a little bit. So when you're A-Bing, it doesn't have to be exactly what you want, but you have to be able to compare. Now I have isotope ozone 4 that I'm mastering with, and I found a preset which is called Reggae Master. Now I want to say something on this course about this. These names that they give these presets, like rock this, reggae that, country this, I think it's one of the worst things people could have done, because we talk about you know, every recording is unique. Every recording is super unique. And so you don't know what mastering settings you're going to use before you do it. It's an art. You have to get in there and experiment and try it. And it could be, you know, some punk polka preset. And so, but it can create a mental thing, you know what I mean? On that particular track you're doing, you go, I'm not going to hit the punk polka, you know, preset for this song, and it might be perfect. So, it's a word to the wise. All right, here we go. So that's Communication by Cardigans. And her voice on that one is very breathy, and I didn't want to get that much breath on it, but there's a certain roundness to it that I do like. And I found mine, this is why I'm adjusting the highs. I found that my mix, the vocal was just a little bit tucked in, just a little, which I knew, because one of the things that mastering will do, it'll bring out the highs and the lows and the brilliance and brightness and punchiness of things. So as you're mixing, if you're going to master afterwards, then it's good sometimes to hold back just a little bit on brightness, punchiness, you know, because you'll get that when you get to the mastering process. Yeah, I wanted a more organic, warm sound to my track, but there were certain things about the strings and the voice that I did want to compare here. I have a tube compressor on the track itself before it goes to mastering. I didn't use anything on the stereo bus out on this mix, by the way. I didn't put a compressor, anything. So when I went into my mastering program, I started with a compressor. So I'm comparing here. This is the inner workings of isotope ozone 4. It's a great plugin for you to learn how to master. I'm on a harmonic exciter, which adds just a little bit of it's a nice presence by using the exciter. So I just added a little bit to the highs here. See, the highs on this track, to me, it's perfect for that song. but I don't want mine to have all those highs. But I want it to be present still. So that's what I'm right now doing, going back and forth. You can hear that. And I'm just listening, and I'm listening with my eyes closed. Very important. So we're just going to check it out. Now, for many people, as you get closer to the end of a project, I find that the attention to detail goes like in a downward curve. It starts out good and goes down. And with people that are very successful, especially with licensing, that are doing engineering and producing, I find that the opposite is true with them. They start out good, but instead of going down, it goes up. The attention to detail goes up. And we call it the inspector hat, or I call it the inspector hat. And that is, you need to assume the position and the viewpoint of an inspector. So what would they do? Well, a good inspector has like a clipboard in their hand. They have a pen, which I literally do when I'm listening to my mixes, taking notes. And you're looking for things that need improvement. It's a very interesting discipline because many people, when they listen to their mixes and their masters and they're doing the inspection steps, will either completely shortchange themselves and listen for a few seconds and say, it's fine, because I know, I listened to it all like 100 times, 1,000 times. But like right now, and I mean, I'm talking to you because this is for the course. But prior to me videoing this, what we're doing right now, I listened through this all the way from the beginning to the end with my speakers, the large speakers, with my small speakers, in my headphones, A-Bing back and forth. And it takes patience. It really does. It takes patience, and it takes an attention to detail that's beyond what you might expect. Because, you're listening for pops, for clicks, for buzz, for hiss, for the balance of every instrument that's there. You want a pleasant listening experience. You want it to be emotional. So these are all the things you're listening for. The biggest thing is emotional. You want the track to move somebody. You want to get the message from the songwriter out to the listener. So let's just take a listen here as it goes. Nice. So all those points that we covered earlier in the earlier video, I addressed, and I didn't hear a thing on that one. So that was a pass. Now, to make your MP3s, I strongly suggest that you use Audacity and you get what's called a lame encoder. You can look it up on Google, but just know that, in Audacity, you can put in metadata. You can edit it. There's other programs for metadata, and everybody asks for different types of metadata. This is just an example here. You can read it there. And this is part of the submission, which is the master track with metadata will go. And here we are. So we're exporting that. And that's Writing by Yourself, master number 12. And as I try to type in there, again, my video program does some very interesting things when you try to type certain letters. So we'll just keep that there for now. But you would then, export this through Audacity rather than any DAW, unless you have a lame encoder in your DAW. The MP3s this way, you'll see there it's 320 kilobytes per second, which is a high quality. The MP3s this way will actually sound much closer to your WAV files. It's a very high quality MP3 by creating them this way. And this is going to be your calling card. This right here is one of the most important things you'll do. This MP3 of your final master will go to the music supervisor, or that'll be the thing that you'll probably put up on SoundCloud. And you want that thing to be pristine. You want it to sound like the WAV file. So all that work you do, and then what people do sometimes is create an inferior MP3. Not a good idea. What you want is your calling card. That's your first impression. You want it to be the best it could possibly be. Okay, that finishes off the audio mixing series for Music Production Fundamentals. And thanks for watching, and thanks for listening.